Yeah, what up, YouTube? Haven't made a video in some time now, but I'm back regardless. Y'all see, the title is Talk Boxing, Episode 5. Um, y'all read the title already. It says Future of Heavyweight Boxing, and I'm here to talk about the two most significant fights that happened this year uh, in that division. I know I'm late on it, but I've been doing my thing in real life outside of YouTube. So yeah, y'all gonna see me, drop more videos about boxing, the up and coming fights. Y'all gonna see me cover, the up and coming fights for the remaining of the year. I'm gonna cover all the major fights that happened in the recent months. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Whoever's watching, and yeah, let's get to it. Um, like I said, I know I'm super late with the analysis, coverage, recap, whatever you want to call it, with these two fights. But y'all read the title. I'm here to talk about the mix-up within the heavyweight division. Right now, is one of the hottest divisions in the sport right now. It ain't looked this healthy since I would say the pre-Klitschko era, and yeah, I like how it's looking right now. It's filled with a good talent, and the future's looking good uh, for that division in the sport. And as y'all know, when it comes to combat sports, even though the lighter weight classes have the more exciting, compelling, entertaining fights, heavyweight heavyweights in the fight game is always gonna have the most attention because of the knockout. And yeah, for whatever it is, the fans, the fight fans seem to be more interested in big men getting in there and trying to knock each other's heads off, for the most parts. Anyways, first things first, let's talk about the Alexander Usyk Anthony Joshua fight. It was a historic fight. They had a whole sellout crowd at a soccer stadium. It was highly anticipated, and yeah, it ain't disappointing, man. It was a good, entertaining fight between the two fighters, and I meant to upload the prediction video. I had it recorded. I was trying to upload it, but I don't know if it was the internet or the computer. For whatever reason, that preview video did not upload for for whatever. I don't know, but I was saying um, Anthony Joshua will win the fight. That was my prediction. I was picking Anthony Joshua to win via a late round stoppage. But I did say in the preview prediction video, which didn't upload, that if it went the distance, Alexander Usyk, his style, his technical ability would carry him to a decision victory. Now I know Joshua's got a you know, he's critiqued for his stamina and his fundamental abilities, and Usyk has that's his main forte. His technical abilities. You know what I'm saying? And Joshua, with all due respect, that's the department where he lacks at. And if it went the distance, along with his stamina, you know what I'm saying? That if it went all the way, that would favor Usyk. Just solely based off style, and that's how it went. Well, matter of fact, that's not just the only way it went. It was more parts to it. I was surprised by how the fight went. Now, as far as the in-depth analysis go throughout the fight, Usyk, I had the fight score 116 to 112 for Usyk, and regardless of the fact that it was in Joshua's home country, home city, it was in London, right? And I think Joshua's from London. Anyways, nonetheless, um, you had Usyk win via unanimous decision, rightfully so. He became the majority champion at the heavyweight division. And yeah, Alexander Usyk fought a brilliant fight. He used different angles. He used movement, and yeah, he fought a brilliant fight. Was throwing good combos out there. Was very accurate with his punches, and he was backing Joshua up more than Joshua was backing him up. I would say Joshua was struggling to back Usyk up, and you know Joshua, from what I was expecting Joshua to back Usyk up, and Usyk would have to, would be forced to fight off his back foot, and would have to really rely on his counter punching and his ability to slip away and defend against Joshua's punches, because Joshua is the bigger man, is the much bigger puncher. So I was, expecting Usyk to be really on his feet about, trying to avoid Joshua's onslaught. And that wasn't the case at all, because Usyk had Joshua hurt more than the other way around. And um, in the 12th and final round, y'all saw Usyk almost had Joshua out of there. He almost had Joshua damn near out on his feet. He was against the ropes, trying to hang on, and that was really surprising. This really put Alexander Usyk on the map as a legit heavyweight champion. Now, heading into this fight, he only had 2 previous fights at heavyweight. Y'all know Alexander Usyk is was a undisputed champion at the 200-pound weight class, and y'all know he won that World Boxing Super Series tournament at cruiserweight, and he moved on to heavyweight. He had his debut fight, won that fight I think by TKO or something like that, and then he went on to fight Derek Chisora, one of the gatekeepers at heavyweight. And when I watched that fight, I had that fight scored, from what I remember, a draw. And Derek Chisora isn't on a championship level. Like I said, he's one of those guys that's, there as a gatekeeper at that weight class. But Alexander Usyk, this is one of the main reasons why I was picking Joshua to win via TKO, because Derek Chisora, like I said, everyone who's a boxing connoisseur like myself knows Joshua's critique for his suspect chin, and Derek Chisora doesn't have the best chin either. He's been knocked out before, more than once, and he was able to walk through Usyk's punches like it was nothing, and he was able to eat them, walk through them, and land punches on his own. That's why I was saying, okay, Joshua's the bigger dude. Chisora's chin ain't the greatest chin, so I'm expecting Joshua to walk through him and then land his significant shots, and then eventually he's gonna, catch Usyk with a good punch to get him out of there. That didn't happen throughout all 12 rounds of the fight. Usyk, like I said, was staying elusive in the ring, using different angles, not only to land his punches, but to, slip away, and, using his footwork as well. That's all movement, head movement, his pivots and all that to, defend against Joshua's punches. And yeah, he fought a excellent fight, and yeah, Usyk was having Joshua on the back pedal, and yeah, he was actually stopping Joshua from his tracks, and Joshua wasn't able to walk through Usyk's punches, and Usyk was really peppering them with combos as well, and I was very impressed by that. And yeah, now this makes him, like I said, the majority champion at heavyweight, and I'm about to cover Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, their third fight, after I finish with covering the post fight for Usyk Joshua. And yeah, I don't know if Joshua, cutting weight really affected him, because he came in lighter than ever for this fight. And Usyk, he put on the most weight in his career to um, fight Joshua. I don't know if him putting on that extra weight helped him, with power in that fight. And I don't know if Joshua cutting weight um, affected him and how he was able to absorb Usyk's punches. But like I said, all due respect, Joshua's main flaws that he gets nitpicked at for is his stamina, his fundamental ability, and his chin. And since his first L against Andy Ruiz, he's took on this more cautious style, and he hasn't been so knockout hungry as he was before. Y'all saw in the rematch against Ruiz and the Pulev fight, and now this fight. He more observant, trying to save more stamina for his gas tank, so he don't gas out throughout the fight. Him being big and so muscular, that's why maybe he came in more lean throughout this fight. That way, he doesn't carry so much weight that he not gonna blow himself out the water uh, throughout the fight. And yeah, but nonetheless, congratulations to Alexander Usyk. Now he holds what, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO heavyweight titles. Now y'all know the Ring magazine, and the WBC heavyweight title belongs to Tyson Fury, the man responsible for ending the Klitschko reign in the heavyweight division. And yeah, if they are to meet to crown the first ever undisputed heavyweight champion in the four belt era, um, Usyk already became undisputed at cruiserweight. If he becomes undisputed at heavyweight, that'd be something. That fight gotta happen. The undisputed heavyweight title fight in the heavyweight division. Like, everyone's looking forward to it. As y'all know, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua was supposed to meet in the ring for to crown the undisputed heavyweight champion, but Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder had an agreement after they had their second fight that no matter the results of the rematch from their second fight, there was a third fight clause between the two. That's why that fight was ruled out. That would have been the biggest fight probably in boxing history ever. That would have been a bigger fight. Y'all see how they had a sellout crowd for the Joshua Usyk fight at the soccer stadium in England? Boy, and that sold out fast. Imagine if two Englishmen, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, were to meet for the undisputed title at in somewhere in London or something like that, anywhere in England for that matter. It would have sold out in America too, but in England especially, boy. But anyways, that fight is kind of out the question now because Joshua lost the three titles that he held to Usyk, and now there's been all sorts of talks about there's like a bid for Anthony Joshua to get out the way so the fight can happen between Usyk and Fury for the undisputed heavyweight title. As y'all know, he had a rematch clause for the Usyk fight, but if there's money involved, big enough money involved for Anthony Joshua to step aside for that undisputed title fight to happen, he said he would. I read an article on one of the boxing forums that I'll be on. But yeah, that fight gotta happen for the sport. You know what I'm saying, and for the fans. And speaking of that, let's transition over to the other major fight that took place this year within the heavyweight division, the third fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Y'all know Tyson Fury won via, I believe, 11th round knockout. He had Deontay Wilder knocked out cold. This time no towels was thrown. The corner ain't stepped in to stop the fight. It wasn't that. He got dropped and the referee called it off. It was probably one of the most exciting fights in recent boxing history. I can't name a better heavyweight fight um, in in boxing. I'll say since like what, like the since like 2000, like in the last 20 years of heavyweight boxing, it ain't been a fight as exciting as the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury trilogy. And that's my opinion. If y'all disagree, you have to comment or let me know like that y'all disagree with that statement. But for me, as that's my favorite rivalry in heavyweight boxing as far as the in ring action. And I would say the third fight was more exciting than the first fight, but the second fight was meh. The first fight was filled with a lot of drama. However, the third fight, whew, boy, that was more compelling than the first fight because of all the action. The first fight, you had Tyson Fury. He looked like he was out cold, but he got up like the Undertaker from WWE, and and, and came back up and started doing his thing. And that fight ended up being a draw. I had Tyson Fury winning the first fight as well. In my eyes, in my humble opinion, I had Tyson Fury winning all three fights throughout the trilogy, regardless of the fact that the judges had the first fight scored a draw. The second fight, he was a clear winner, and the third fight, he won clearly again. Tyson Fury is just a better boxer, period, point blank. Like Anthony Joshua, like how he relies a lot on his power. Deontay Wilder also is a fighter where he relies on his main weapon, that right hand, that knockout power that he carries, and that's what had the whole heavyweight boxing scared of Deontay Wilder is because of his knockout power. But Tyson Fury's skills was able to neutralize Deontay's power, much like how Usyk's skills was able to neutralize Anthony Joshua's power. Now, in this case, the bigger man won. Y'all know Usyk is the much smaller man compared to Anthony Joshua. It's the same case with Wilder and Fury. Fury's the much bigger man than Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is like Usyk size, not height wise, but I'm talking weight wise. He could fight at cruiserweight if he wanted to, really. And yeah, Tyson Fury's weight, him, he's got the right strategy. He know what he's doing. He know how to lean in against Deontay Wilder, use his weight to, drag Deontay Wilder and have him tired. And Deontay Wilder, I say, his he gets criticized a lot for his and I say this with my humble opinion that that he lacks in fundamental skills as well. That's what he's been critiqued for. That all he has is that right hand, and he only relies on his knockout power and his reputation for being able to knock his opponents out. And they were saying, oh, Tyson Fury exposed that in the first fight that he don't really got the skills to be a champion. And what other time he went the distance? I think it was against Luis Ortiz or something like that. That he ain't championship material and all that. He's got the heart. He's got the determination. He's got the will to be a world champion. And this don't take nothing away from Deontay Wilder. He lost to a undefeated guy who's responsible for ending the Klitschko era, and this was before I say Klitschko was before Klitschko fought Anthony Joshua, and Vladimir Klitschko was already kind of slowing down, but hey, he did that when he wasn't in his best shape either. I'm talking about Tyson Fury, and it's a story that everyone could get behind. Him bouncing back from whatever he was going through to where he's at now. And as far as the in-depth analysis goes through the fight, like I said, this fight was the most action-filled fight in their trilogy. I had the fight score I think 96-91 for Tyson Fury. I think that's how I had it scored. Um, there was a lot of knockdowns in the fight. First, I think in the third round, Tyson Fury dropped Deontay Wilder with a right hand right under the ears, and boy, I tell you, Deontay Wilder looked like he was out, and Tyson Fury landed a was he landed a good shot to have him hurt before that, and then he landed that perfect right hand right under the ear to drop Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder, when he seems to get hurt or when he throws his punches, he tends to not bring his hands back up to keep that guard up, and he would have his hands down, and that shows that only shows his opponent an easier target to hit, and you know he he has his mouth open when he's hurt and he tries to mask it. It's kind of he don't mask it that well, and and I say this in the most humble way. He lacks defensive skills especially when he's hurt. And Tyson Fury went on the offense, and yeah, he dropped him. But check this out: in the fourth round, Deontay Wilder would come back and drop Tyson Fury twice. He would have Tyson Fury hurt, not like in the first fight where he dropped him the second time and Tyson Fury looked like he was out cold, but no, he had dropped him. He hit him, I think, like right on the temple or like right on the ear or something like that, and Tyson Fury got dropped, and he got back up. Some people say it was a slow count. There's like videos proving that it was a slow count, and there's videos arguing that it wasn't a slow count. But hey, nonetheless, Tyson Fury got back up. Deontay Wilder went wild and tried to get him out of there. But Tyson Fury, he knows how to, like I said, use that weight to lean against Deontay to, clinch and to hang on, to, hang on for dear life to not get, knocked out. And that's what he did. He, bounced back. And then in the fifth and sixth and seventh, throughout the mid rounds, Tyson Fury, throughout the whole fight, the CompuBox numbers, if you compare the punch stat numbers, this is kind of no comparison at all. Like at the end of the fight, Tyson Fury landed like triple digits, while Deontay Wilder landed only like 50 punches. And I don't you know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking Deontay Wilder. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's got, what I'm saying? He defines like what heavyweight boxing is to most people, and people want to watch heavyweight boxing for knockout type activities, and Deontay Wilder brings that. But it is really no comparison, and I think throughout the whole trilogy, Tyson Fury proved that he lands more cleaner punches, he's more accurate with his punches, and he's just a better boxer, period, point blank. And Deontay Wilder in the 10th round got dropped again. Tyson Fury would hit him with a good uppercut and then land another right hand, a straight right to drop Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder came back up, and he looked it out. Like all the punches that Tyson Fury was accumulating on him, Deontay Wilder was getting affected by that. He was getting hurt. He was getting fatigued throughout the fight with all the weight leaning on him, and the punches that Tyson Fury would be throwing at him would cause him a lot of trouble and would take a lot out of Deontay. And in the 11th round, that punishment finally caught up to Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder would eat a big right hand, and that would drop him and would lay him out flat. The referee wouldn't even count. And that's it. This closed the book for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury trilogy. Probably one of the best rivalries in the last 20 years of heavyweight boxing. And yeah, man. So salute to both the Warriors, man. Salute to Joshua and Usyk as well. Um, and yeah, Tyson Fury won that fight. I'm not gonna get into all the after fight antics that these two got into. That's between them. I have my opinion on it. Some people say it's disrespectful how uh, Deontay Wilder acting when Tyson Fury approached him to say, "Hey, hell of a fight. You did your thing. Now, you go back to, your family and, recover and, continue on with your career. Because this ain't the end of Deontay Wilder's career. Like I said, the heavyweight division is filled with some talent right now. I'm about to get into who they can, possibly face and upcoming matchups that could possibly happen in the future for the heavyweights in boxing right now. And yeah, Tyson Fury, man, like I think this puts him as like it's either him or Lennox Lewis who's the greatest British heavyweight of all time, if not the greatest British fighter in boxing history. Like he's undefeated, has fought everyone in the sport. Deontay Wilder been the boogeyman of heavyweight boxing for for since he fought Tyson Fury. Like until he fought Tyson Fury, he's still the boogeyman. If he doesn't let this Tyson Fury loss get to him to the rest of the division, he's still the boogeyman of heavyweight boxing. So hopefully Deontay can bounce back because he could get some the key matchups in heavyweight boxing right now, regardless of him getting knocked out against Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury, like I said, he wants to fight Dillian White, who's the interim WBC heavyweight champion. Um, and Dillian White was supposed to fight Wallin on the 30th of October, but I think he got injured or something like that. So he had to back out of that fight. And Wallin is someone who fought Tyson Fury and actually gave Tyson Fury some trouble throughout their fight. And, I'm not going to lie, I think Wallin was going to beat Dillian White. That was my prediction. I think Wallin would, win by decision. I think he would outpoint Dillian White, but Dillian White doesn't have the best chin in the world. He got knocked out by, a out of prime 40-plus-year-old post-COVID recovering Povetkin. And that's the thing about heavyweight boxing. When you got these big guys fighting each other in the ring, one punch could change a fight. And Dillian White, the WBC interim heavyweight champion, has been calling out Tyson Fury. They used to train together and shit like that, but Tyson Fury said, he's willing to fight Dillian White. Tyson Fury has been fighting in America for, his few last fights. It would be a huge fight for him to fight Dillian White. He's already a household name. Both these guys are household names in England. So if Tyson Fury were to come back to England and fight Dillian White, they could easily sell out a soccer stadium for that fight as well. But I don't know if they're gonna continue on to have the Wallin White fight next year, or if they're gonna have White jump in there with Tyson Fury next year. But I'll say the only fight that Tyson Fury really needs before he retires, and I think he's gonna retire undefeated. That's my personal opinion, and I think Tyson Fury, the only fight that he needs right now, that he really truly needs, is the Alexander Usyk fight. If he becomes undisputed heavyweight champion, he ain't got nothing to prove. He's done everything he can, and he's done everything he can to cement his legacy as a great. And if he becomes undisputed heavyweight champion, like he'll only continue fighting if he wants to. And yeah, he wants to fight Anthony Joshua as well. He's not ducking nobody. And as far as Anthony Joshua goes, y'all know we got the Joseph Parker Derek Chisora rematch happening like in like 2-3 weeks, and maybe he could fight the winner of their rematch. Um, have another rematch against Dillian White. Those guys are both big names in English boxing, in heavyweight boxing period. And if he chooses to have that rematch against Dillian White, and Dillian White been, thirsty for that rematch against Anthony Joshua, why not have that fight? Or have Anthony Joshua fight Deontay Wilder, the two former heavyweight champions, the two most ferocious punchers in heavyweight boxing, get in there and have a matchup. That would be great for the sport, and that would draw some humongous numbers of. It's going to be a big attraction for fans all across the world if those two were to have a fight. And as far as Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz, who's with the same promotional banner, PBC. Andy Ruiz had that fight against Chris Arreola. Regardless of the fact that he got dropped in the first round, he still went on to beat Chris Arreola, which was like kind of like a tune-up fight to get him back in the tune after his rematch L that he took against Anthony Joshua. And hey, I'm saying this: if Andy Ruiz, after knocking Anthony Joshua out in their first fight, but there was a rematch clause signed for Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz anyway. If Joshua were to lose, so that they had to have that rematch, I say it's only fair that Andy Ruiz has that rematch against Anthony Joshua, or that third fight to the rematch, whatever. You know what I'm saying? To avenge, just like how Joshua had a chance to avenge his L against Ruiz. I think it's only fair that Ruiz has a chance to get in there, because they're tied right now, 1-1. Just like how Fury and Wilder got in there to have their trilogy bout. Have the same thing for Ruiz and Joshua. If not, Ruiz and Wilder wouldn't be a bad fight either. And yeah, as far as Andy Ruiz goes, in the second fight, not to make any excuses for Andy Ruiz, but he was really soaking in his victory over Anthony Joshua from the first fight, because he just came out the blue. It was supposed to be a fight where he was supposed to get blown out, and this was Anthony Joshua's big debut in America, but he spoiled that, and he went back home, was getting all the love and attention, and was living the champion lifestyle. And from what I hear, and from his side of the camp, that he wasn't fully focused, and didn't prepare himself the best to his ability for that rematch against Anthony Joshua. And y'all saw it in his last fight against Chris Arreola. He came slim as a motherfucker, and that means he definitely was taking his training camp seriously, because of the shape that he came in for that Chris Arreola fight. And if not, then fight Joseph Parker as well, because they had a close fight. And whoever wins that Chisora Joseph Parker fight could fight Andy Ruiz as well. Then you got Joe Joyce, an undefeated heavyweight in the mix as well, up and coming British heavyweight talent. The heavyweight boxing scene, man, is a lot of good potential matchups. And yeah, it's looking real good, man. It's one of the better divisions, the better, more entertaining divisions in the sport right now. And I'm looking forward to what the future holds for heavyweight boxing. It's looking good. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts were on the two most significant fights that happened this year within the heavyweight division. Let me know what fights y'all might want to see, who y'all think is going to be the king of the heavyweight division right now. I think Tyson Fury holds that crown, regardless of the fact that Alexander Usyk holds majority of the titles. Yeah, y'all let me know y'all opinions with heavyweight boxing in the comments. If y'all got a video y'all own about these fights and heavyweight boxing in general, then yeah, y'all yeah, feel free to uh, let me watch out, you know what I'm saying, videos about heavyweight boxing or y'all insights on these fights and these fighters and all that. Y'all get the gist of what I'm saying. Anyways, man, that's all for episode 5 of Talk Boxing. Y'all be safe, stay healthy, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever the fuck y'all like, and peace.